I will just, it's fun. Let me second. Don't feel. It's great. Okay. Right. What's her kitchen at the? She is. Yeah.
For your palette, what did you do? I kind of know what.
It basically then find a line and just send them very questions so that they can answer, and I just told them what to answer.
I was just saying.
Okay, so and I'll do that and I'll give you that.
So the chef calls you out, like whoever, like, so if you made a final entry, I think you have to answer the question.
You're gonna do your name. You wanna do your presentation?
Yeah, I used the restroom.
We'll start with that.
Oh, okay.
It's just
really bad.
And it's talking to that things that.
Where do you get them from? Are you gonna eat them now? Oh, you can have that one, Bill. Yeah, it's like one of the ones. I like cappuccinos.
How she interacted.
All right, so what's going on? How's everyone doing? It's midterm language because I feel like it's frantically working.
She still sings. She's learning so much.
First time I hear, Tristan speak so loudly.
Get down over there.
Don't call me.
All right, so everyone's feeling like the crunch of.
Stuff that's like, I'm just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully, they had something to. I remember writing.
Yeah.
It was like a project, but still, like, we're missing our 1%.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so they're confident about what you're gonna do, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously, yeah, it's going way fast. I do.
It's going to be fast.
Yeah, I just, it's usually. Yeah. Like, I just.
And you're good? All your stuff is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Check it back on.
It's just,
It's so big, and that's everything, it's like.
yeah.
It's just back now. Yeah, what do you have in that data? Like all of.
Right.
What's it do? I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Sure.
You know, I think everything is just.
Got it.
Yeah. And like. Things are going, feel like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's like pressing.
Sure.
Is it like an easy? So like out?
Yeah, like, because, the extent something to do with support, stories.
Yeah, do like the links, like.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Yeah.
And when I'm getting, you know, about kids, kind of like holding this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Yeah.
Well, probably like not.
Yeah, yeah, so it's kind of.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah.
My husband is 27. Like one of the worst, most important, and it was like a transition, but.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so they had. So.
Yeah.
Then you have to take this like.
Because you, it's all radioactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, no, internet. Right. It's like. Then you. Not to. Oh, God. Because he did have that. We're gonna.
Next. This one. Yeah. So your also implements are much tougher than,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that's was very. Better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, because things. That was enough.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. Didn't get it.
They
No.
don't get so much.
Well, they kept it.
Yeah. Well, that's another reason. I was like, maybe after. Last. Not wait.
No, get it done.
My mom,
Yeah.
my mom, she fell along with the breast. During COVID. And at the beginning of it, and she's like, oh, I want to wait for my son's support. I don't want to worry about it. It's something that you just think about. It's like, okay, yeah. Is it right? So then I told her, yeah, I told her, either you tell my brother, then we go to the doctor and we'll check it. No. Or you told me. The other time we went, she did have cancer, but it was stage 0. So it wasn't right. It's still hard. I didn't know stage 0 is hard because you still do biopsies, they open, they test. She didn't do chemo or anything, thank God. He did a little bit of radiation, but it's still let it pass. So, yeah, you're right.
Good advice.
Huh.
It's like, that you only get one.
Yeah.
Right? So you gotta take care of it. So just
Take care of
do it.
My nephew is, not even like, I think he doesn't even eat, I think he just eats lettuce. God knows what else, I don't know, he doesn't eat nothing. He literally, he doesn't like eat anything, like, he's so like, I think he used to eat shrimp, and now he's like, they have their job in the sea, and I just don't wanna bother them or whatever, and so his whole thing is, when those things start occurring, it's because your body's telling you something. You can listen to it, start eating them, etc. So, I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
We're only getting older. So it ain't gonna get easier.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna get started. Mandy's gonna do her math game presentation today, so we just have that one left from last time. And then we're going to start talking about physics studies and a little intro into science and that's it for today. So use the arrows up there. All right.
Again, it's called leapfrog counting from 1 to 10. The concepts I have for my math is counting one-to-one correspondence, synthesizing. This is my objectives of the game. That's the concept. And these are my standards for the game. And I think from the second one, this KCC counting and coordinate personality and the most of the counting and the four, all four and number 5 and so and how to play it. The game will be played by two players. The goal is to match the cards. Directions of how to play it. The materials are 20 dot flashcards and 20 numbered flashcards. And these are the so-called the number flashcards, and these are the 20. For each player, there'll be 10 each. So it will be like this part. It will be 10 here. And then the other side. This one is the one they flip. So I'll flip the card. It's 9. And then that person try to find 9. The first one to grab the 9, they get the point. Okay. And then like that was that person's turn, they flip and then like four. And then the one with the and then the one with the most card can win. And this is for Kendra.
Oh, great. Well, I think like my one class is like really loves advertising. I seem really into it. Which is great, because advertising is such an important foundational math skill. So, good job, Mandy, thanks.
Because in pre-K around economic clinical.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
They're on it.
the teacher said, all right, can you synthesize this? And the kids are like, yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So you definitely just use those words. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
All right, so, okay, thanks, Mandy, that was good. Another studentizing activity center idea. All right, so I will all with them, so. So some of you added to the packet. Any other thoughts about like social science, social studies? This was like in an asynchronous week like several weeks ago.
Yeah.
So. This is, other thoughts when you think about social studies or social science in early childhood? What comes to mind? You see things like community, cultural backgrounds, diversity, tradition, social aspects. Something other. Jobs. Home. Others about government, world issues, democracy,
So,
Yeah, and so, so here's the definition of social studies that comes from for the social studies. So. And here is the part of the NCFS, they define it here. We think about social sciences and then these, and this is right, a very multidisciplinary approach. How we can look at social studies, all these other kinds of content areas, edited in there, and we will talk about it as created content. So you also had a reading from this week, right, that talked about equity-centered social studies. Obviously, we want to be thinking about equity in all the work that we're doing. We want bias education, we want to be thinking about centering diversity and all those things. All the content that we're teaching, that these ideas as well. I've just highlighted some words here that I think we want you to focus on. So if you haven't read this, there'll be some breaks in the reading coming up, so you can go back and read this, but I wanted to kind of highlight these here so that we have the top of mind and we'll think about that. Questions, thoughts? Where did you fall on your confidence in teaching social studies? Remember the first day we did our little like scale? Most of you all are feeling like. So if lots of the things that you all posted on your, on the Padlet, these ideas, so these are kind of the main themes that you'll be teaching in your classroom, when it comes to. That's again, my Brockenbrenner reference, and that the way in which we think about social studies, I like to align with that idea. Starting with the me, right, the centerpiece, and we're really trying to, we're building and thinking about. And obviously, as you get older, you think about much larger systems and all of those things, how that, all these things, right? These are the themes. The standards are linked here in this one. So, these are. So these are the social science and study standards here. The right to the link here, so you can look through those. People think about that and use those today, but there's two areas of focus within there. So there's like these disciplinary concepts, which are essentially like concept learning, right? What happens in studying inquiry skills, which we know are really important. See those highlighted in the here. These are mostly just like reference sheets for you, essentially, to kind of know how to read them. Reading standards is like the first hurdle. Is like, how do I even look at the standards of what they need? Next time we're together, we'll talk about fine standards. But okay, so yeah, we're gonna read this book, and I want you all to be thinking about the social studies themes and concepts and ideas. Early childhood, we always like to start books because they're just great. So, and when you take children's literature, you'll have lots and lots of books and strategies, and there's all these weird ways and rules for how to hold the book so that you're not covering pages. All right, so that's up on Market Street. We've all read. Okay, today's the day. We're doing it. Okay, so CJ pushed through the church door, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom. Also smelled like rain. Freckled CJ started to strip down his coat. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella. How come I'm now late to the bus and all this sweat? You get thirsty too, Mama told him. That big one drinking through a straw? CJ looked for a long time, never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield. His friend Teddy climbed in, CJ waved, walked. Now, how come we don't have a car? He grew up. He never. I didn't get. What's that I see? Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his paw, then laughed at CJ along. He sat right up front. The man across the way was sitting with the car. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in the car. And he gave everyone a great big smile and good afternoon. He made sure CJ. Bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Anna hummed as she did. I always gotta go here after church, CJ said. Gail told me never. Sorry for those. Next chance to meet. Oh, Lord. Trixie got herself a new cat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side. Little boys hopped curbs on bikes. Happy where you're not. Kids. These kids. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Anna told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses too. Sniffing at the air. It's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, man. Anna squeezed the man's hand and laughed. The trick to flipping pages, if you all figured that out. After all these years of reading books, like two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Sat down for knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. Feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered. I like to close my eyes. Close hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old women's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full and was lost in the sound. The sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the van. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti tagged windows, and boarded up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. It's always so dirty. She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. So smart, so wise. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over their soup kitchen. He wondered how Nana always found people, but he never even thought to look. He looked all around him again, the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and broken street lamps still lit up. Right? The stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, "I'm glad we came." He thought that Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, "Me too, CJ." Right. A great book. A great book for all kinds of content, right? But particularly good for social science. All right, so what social studies themes were present in this book? What math or science skills? Practice with this story. Would you take a minute and you can like chat with a partner? Yeah, or throw, yeah. Yeah, chat with your partner. Take a couple of minutes, chat with your partner, and there's no right or wrong answer status, right? So just yeah. It's like a rainbow.
That can be
So
science.
you can talk about rainbows and like sticks. Hold on.
The stop, counting how many stops they were. Stop.
They talk about coins.
Yeah, counting the coins
The
too.
coins too.
Community.
Yeah,
Community.
yeah, because they came across a whole bunch of different people on the bus. Yeah, also communities because they went to the neighborhood and they lives. That doesn't work. All right, what do we think? What are something like, what have you been, what have you like? Okay. Have that, it's a rainbow, right? Or like, how rainbows. Rainbows. Yep. The coin. The coin, okay. What about social studies? So yeah, people and how they live, so they encounter lots of different people on their bus ride, so talk about, yeah, diversity, what, who all the people were on the bus, what were they doing, why, yeah, why they were on the bus, where were they going, communities, yeah, you're taking a bus, right, you're going through different neighborhoods, encountering different people, what else? Other thoughts?
I think there's also some sort of history. I was looking at the
Yeah.
standard. And one of them, like, I or compare life in the past to the life today, when she was like, she makes all these observations. Like you were saying, she's so smart. Her experience.
Right. Yeah, right, so that's like his grandma, right? Taking this bus ride together and she's like dropping all this knowledge on this kid, trying to get him in line, right? He's like, this is so boring, I don't wanna do this, right? But by the end, he's just like, he's happy that they went there, they encountered all these people, he listened to that music, the bus, and he had like this very magical experience, which was so cute. But even music, right? I mean, thinking about music as a content area, talking about here. But yeah, I think, right, communities, neighborhoods, the people that you meet along the way is really center in this book, and your family and the relationships you have with your family. So this experience that he has with going to the soup kitchen, bus, and meeting people along the way, helping people, right? So obviously when um,
right, the helping support. The people there, so.
How would you, you know, in the literacy, where you are, if this is gonna be like a lesson, like a lesson. How would you do that? Would you wait to conversate with them afterwards, right? Like.
Yeah,
something-
so when you're reading books with young children, it's always best to read the whole thing. Just read it. Okay, don't stop and ask questions. You want to make sure that they are like become familiar with the book, right? And what it's about. And then the next time you write, because the goal is that you're gonna read a book multiple times. You're not just gonna read a book once. So the best practice would be to read it first in its entirety and then maybe ask them questions, right? And then read it again with some goals in mind in terms of what you're hoping to get out of it, right? And every time you read it might be different, right? You might be really focused on like reading comprehension, and so you really want them to be able to retell the story to you. You might be thinking about like plot or characters, and so you might be asking them bigger questions about some of the characters in the book. You might be thinking like you want them to come up with a new ending or add to the story. So what happens after Anna and CJ leave the soup kitchen? Okay. Maybe they get back on the bus, right? They go back probably the way they came and they meet new people. I don't know, right? So have that, have your students be thinking about that. So yeah, I mean, it's really about like and obviously like you might then have like word walls, right? Or vocab, right? Where you have, you want them to be focused on certain words. Some words, some books will have words that they have no idea what they are. Like maybe they don't know what a soup kitchen is. So thinking about that too, kind of the vocabulary piece too. So yeah, everything would be different. Right? Because reading a story aloud or telling a story aloud is very different from like using books to teach reading. Right? I mean, it's like in somewhat the same, but like when you're intentionally teaching someone how to read, right? We're doing that. Our strategies are going to look a little bit different. This is really about like learning to love reading, love books, learn about story, right? Like beginning, middle, end, story arc, conflict, right? All the things that are a part of a story. And then obviously there's some aspects of reading, vocabulary, or teaching reading with the book is going to be different than my strategy that I'm going to use if I'm reading a book. Right? Because you're going to be using like stuff like integrity and all these like other like more structured ways of teaching like phonological, phonemic awareness, all that stuff.
Right.
So for me, it's always been really hard. I'm not knowledge person at all.
Mhm.
Like, so this week I love this. I love to hear, I haven't the right thing one.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the things and,
Mhm.
happening.
Yeah.
Does that happen to a lot?
That they aren't like listening to the story, like they're not retaining what they're hearing. I mean, I'm sure they're right, like they're all different in the way that they learn. So I would imagine. That's why it's important to read stories multiple times, right? Because the first time you read it, especially like if you're dealing with younger children and you have lots of like classroom management, you're like, you gotta sit down. Oh, why don't you come sit over here, right? Like while you're telling a story, that becomes very attractive to other students in the room, right? Maybe they're like, right. So that's why, yeah, it's really important that you read it multiple times. Because then, like, even if kids, so then as children are learning to read, even if they don't know the word, all the words, they know the story, they can start to like decode the text, right? Because they've heard it so many times. So they'll be able to look at the book and they'll know some of the words, right? Then I don't know, so they'll start using like the strategies that they learned. They'll be able to like unpack that. So Yeah, I mean, sometimes you could just use like a, also like, you know, I know a lot of times teachers are using the screen. Which I'm like kind of anti when it comes to books. I just feel like we need kids to know that like these are real things and like there's physical books that like people are reading on YouTube. And read this, hold this, and turn the pages and right, look closely at the pictures and the words and like they all work together. So yeah. But we'll save that rant for next semester. Will be hopefully I'm teaching 325 with you. I know. Well, I want to teach it, but I'm teaching too many classes, so
So, because with our clinical, clinical said, usually students do literacy and then math for their lesson.
yeah.
And so, I know that my CT is now introducing, that's a thing, right? So I've seen other times where it's, things, and it will belong to the three bears.
Yeah, so like fairy tale kind of
Yeah.
like people.
I guess she says that she wants to introduce them to beginning, middle. Beginning, middle,
Right.
end.
Yeah, and so you're gonna, right, and so that's a literacy goal, right? Something that you're gonna want to focus on. Like this idea. So
I just didn't know what to take that. Literacy. You know, how.
yeah, so you use a simple structured book that isn't very complicated, right? This is not like the beginning, middle, and end of this book is like. Yeah. You know, they get on the bus, you meet all these people and then they, right? But it's like this, you know, three little pigs, like a very beginning. Houses. So. And then you do like sequencing, right? Story sequencing, right? Pictures, and they can draw pictures. Story, that's like a way to help them. Obviously. It's like pattern. Which is why math is very predictive of literacy. Right? Shows if you're strong. Yeah. We're going to likely be a much better reader. Because you're learning those things. Right? Okay. So, yeah, so, right, so always start with the book. Books are great. You know, start building your children's library now. That's really important. So, okay, so now what I would like you to do is to just do our like three little groupings that we just had. I want you to find a book that aligns with each of those three themes, right? The three themes here. Okay. So I have a stack of books up here. I think I curated enough that it includes good stuff. All right, so find a book that aligns with each of the three themes. And we'll go basically, you know, we'll take 15 minutes. So we don't get to all of these. Review the social studies standards and think about the way that those standards might be reflected in that book or some related activity. So here is an example right from a book that we just read together. So first grade, living, learning, and working together. This theme very prominently, I think, in this book, right? We're meeting all these people that live in our neighborhood and surrounding neighborhood. And with the kitchen. And so here's a standard, right? So compare how people in different communities, local and worldwide environments can meet their daily needs. So obviously here they're on a bus, right? They're taking a bus ride. All these other people on the bus are taking a bus ride, right? They're all using it to get around.
they'll have different stories that they're doing. They all do identities too, right? And some of them we learned more about this, but, so yeah. So that is just kind of an example for you all to go off.
Does that make sense? So here's the book file. But so come up here and just find some books. In your So find, if you can book that aligns with all three, or you want to find three different books, up to you, right? So it's a lot of obviously early childhood books are good for K to two. Yeah, but we might need to, yeah, if you want, you can take it back and take some and. So you just focus on the social science, social studies, yeah. So don't, yeah, it's only one, so we're strictly thinking, put just your social studies teacher cap on right now. So we're not thinking, I know the last, we were talking about last time on marketing, we're thinking about other content areas, but for this, just find books that align with those themes, social studies themes, and look through the standards and see what you can find. Right, so the goal here is that we're thinking about the concepts and themes of social studies in early childhood, and we're getting a chance to kind of dig around the standards of it. Yeah, get yourself some snack. You either gotta go to the bathroom or something, now it's time to go. And we'll take, so we'll say like at 5:15, we'll come back and we'll just share out. And then we'll move to our next. Or if we're done before that. Yeah. No.
It's about.
Wasn't that one a popular book?
Did you read this one? You want me to read it? Yeah. No, they're fucking healthy. Oh, I don't need that. Just like something better. Oh, we'll put them in something. I was This was posted to me.
Yeah, before one.
Over style. Some of the words, it means that I'm not just gonna add fonts. Yeah. I'm saying, I'm just gonna add. Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Going. Findings are. They're actually started, so it's just started. First of all, area. Okay, fine. This could be like the living one. Yeah, this one is really. So crazy. Then when you can help yourself, she will have the things to the. I'm the good grade. I didn't implement the paradigm. Yeah. It definitely has to be.
No, right?
If the book itself. It's okay. So, if the book itself doesn't have like a clear standard alignment for you, you could think about an activity that you might do that's related to the book. We don't need to need it. We're just thinking book to standard.
I was trying to decide how much better that says that we learned that or has this got one not G three. The one, the earth on it. Oh, okay.
How's it going?
Got three.
You're finding our standard.
One for them, the other one.
I mean,
Or.
one thing is fine. I want you to really be like. Looking, right? I was thinking that way before looking at articles.
Because when you're in the first place, I don't see what all the well, you know.
I don't.
Yeah.
What happened?
Something right after.
We were, I don't know what.
No. You can see one.
Oh, yeah. And some of them are like.
Wait, so.
Yeah.
You were the team.
Yeah, the social studies standard are a little bit different.
For this one. Yes. I would say it's the three because. They're using the environment.
5 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's okay, just get as far as you can. This is just practice with the standard.
Because we have to see the first part. The G one. growth. But it would be like a big compare. This would be like applying this to first grade. Yeah. This is that kid to do that.
This other one.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Right? It's a. And together in the classroom. Yes. What do you just think?
Okay, one more minute. Wrap up your thoughts. It's okay, we don't have them all. Okay. Let's come back and share our thoughts. Okay, so want to okay. Oh, volunteer. It's eating cookies, priority, you know, we have important things to do here, like I ate mine.
Ito was too many tamales.
And the book was basically about the people who tried to not bring involvement in Jamaica.
Everything you want to do was broken on the opposite of here.
No,
Maybe it's not eight that whole day.
basically, she tried to not bring well, Nikki tamales with her mom, and then she forgot about it, and then when cousins came, she thought that the ring was in the tamales. So then her and her cousins ate like 24 tamales to see if the ring was in it.
I mean,
But the standard we went with was Open City to, with guidance and support, the tribal communities can work together to accomplish tasks, establish roles and responsibilities, and achieve sustainable outcomes to the community. She was able to tell her mom after she ate 24 tamales that she couldn't find the ring, but it still on her mom's finger. So then, yeah, they remade the tamales with their family. And then using various,
I bet their mom was wrong. Big soul mom. I realize probably. Yeah, I know the story. Like, that just happened. Yeah, you're getting the job on for sure.
and the other one was using various viewpoints so that to engage in collective conversation to have conclusion and inquiry findings and create action steps, basically the eating 24 tamales and trying to figure out a solution.
And we're gonna look around and see whoever takes into it and makes them hard. That's
And the boy saw the tamales, the ring was in his stomach, because he's like, I think I ate it.
Doesn't hear it. Come on. Right, who else wants to go?
We did two. It's all our moment. I'm grateful. Talks about a lot about diversity. Basically, there were some themes like different foods for lunch, making sure that it's environment, how there's diversity in art and um we got aligned most closely in this book. For guidance and support, describe how the book required. This that was made in this book was basically creating an inclusive school environment. It's so the people make the place. And it has a different way of life, and the school community is with that way of life. Then they come up with overall environment that is.
Yeah.
We also looked at if this is the way we go to school. It's really fun because it just kind of looks at how different people get to school based in different countries and then cities within the United States. So we thought that it would work with the FSKG2, that's with guidance and support for people and get to know rates.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, no, I think it's big line here. We'll just leave it. Where'd you go?
Somewhere over there.
It's up there.
Oh, it's like where the, I can't tell what it is. Eating.
Red. It's red.
Maybe some of that. All right, sorry, while we
Yeah, sure.
deal with the volume situation.
Find your way, little guy. Find your way. Okay, what did you guys find out with? We have with, well,
Yeah.
this one, there, I put in culture later, and we found that it was. But it's geography, it does have east, west, south, the listen, geography, geographic. And for this one, we use the guidance we put forward. The identify characteristics of print and digital maps, graph, and other cultural representation. About what you're pleased.
Okay, so with this one, the carrot seed, right? It's
Wow.
how, you know, everyone around this young boy, who planted the seed is telling him that it's not gonna grow, but he has this like positive attitude that, yeah, it's gonna grow. And eventually, you know, it does grow. Biggest carrot ever, yeah, here it is. And so he's like, see, I knew it would grow. Communicating conclusions, right? With guidance and support, students will share their findings on the app. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm so happy. Oh, it was here. Sorry.
You're just learning the standards, but looking at them for the first time, Rob.
Yeah. With guidance and support, evaluate the source by distinguishing between facts.
Yeah, because they're not in the word opinion.
Yeah.
Being their opinion is that. He kept going, yeah. Do what I have to do, water the plant, clean around it, and then.
Yeah.
I joined it.
I didn't even- but we didn't get to this one.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great book. All these books are great, so just, note them for the future. So, we'll continue to talk about social studies. This is obviously just a quick intro to the standards so that you're aware of them and have seen them now and have looked at them. And you thought about ways that you can align them. Well, so let's switch gears a little bit and start thinking about science. And so, obviously, so I'm just gonna talk at you for a few minutes and then we'll do another activity, but, and so when we think about early childhood science, we're thinking about inquiry a lot, right? We're thinking about the ways in which children are engaging in all of these areas, right? Observing and caring and classifying, making inferences, talking about things they see in the environment, making predictions. So we're talking to them all the time about these things. This is all part of science, right? So science process is really important. And, the scientific method, the classic standard way, science and, this time. Project approaches, we'll do a lot more with this in a few weeks. We'll actually do a mini project in this class to about the ideas, and we'll integrate all of our content areas. The project approach is a really great approach, which we hopefully know about, talk about that. Someone did project. We'll talk about it, right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk more about project approach. And so, right, this is essentially taking some theme, and or a top, your student's question, and then building around that
to integrate content areas. And so it's, it's a little bit more work for you as a teacher, but I think it's a fun way to integrate, one, to use children's ideas and questions, and to integrate content across the curriculum. So you can see, this is an example, right? So here is your kind of, they have questions about, they're really thin bites, right? And then you can start to see all of these concepts and ideas that come out, right? Like, what do we learn about bikes? We can learn about the parts, we can learn about accessories, why we have bikes, where is bikes, where you ride bikes, right? So there's all these other questions that happen. Then you go into more and more details. And then here you start thinking about standards, right? So these are but then you start making kind of those alignments with standards, like grade level standards and all that, it's building objectives, all that stuff. The other great part of science in early childhood is thinking about the design process or design thinking. So similar to the scientific method, right? There's like these steps in which you might engage in. And so generally there's going to be some kind of problem that we need to find a solution for. And so we're going to go through these steps to try to find that solution. So we're going to do something related to this today. This is the video about both ideas. There are some more. Okay. So we can focus on those topics. But I'm going to play a little game. So I'm going to show you some images and I'd like you to just tell me, what do you see? Okay, we're just going to take 30 seconds for each one. What do we see here? A red circle. Table. Red circle and blue rectangle. What else? Sandwich. Oh. Yeah. Okay. How about this? What do you see? A what? Flower. Sunrise. Sunrise. Sunset. Branches. What else?
Doing math, 90 degrees.
Triangle.
Sundial.
Bad hair day.
Bad hair day.
You know, that static where you pull that line.
Okay. Great. All right, so now, watch a little video. Has any of you ever watched it? So great. We just did this. We wrote down our idea. 5 more seconds to think of any other one. So we have way more time. Okay, so now think like a child. Maybe it is a turkey. Mother thought. Okay, so the point of me showing you this video is because to be early childhood educators, we need to think like children. And it's very hard for us because our brains have been trained to think in certain ways, far longer than children, right? So when we see this, what is this? An eraser. But what else could it be? It could be a extreme sandwich. It could be a block. Right? It could be a car, a train, right? Like the children are going to see ordinary objects and they're going to see them in ways that we can't even imagine. But what I ask of you is that you start thinking about what is restricting me from thinking that this thing is more than that I see it and know it. And it's obviously, like this is talking about, our brain has created neural connections that are telling me this thing is this, and I can't see it any other way. But we have to kind of retrain our brain, right, to be able to start thinking in ways that are much more flexible and more creative, right? Which is why I think we all want to work with young children, right? Because they're just so fun and their brains are wild. They have like such magic in the way they think about it. And so we need to be able to do some of those things as well. So next time you see some pictures, right? Let's move away from this thing to these, right? All of these. Right? We had some better luck, I should say, we're more flexible in our thinking on this image. And maybe it's because we had a little bit more time, right? But now you can consciously think about your own thinking, right? Your metacognitive skills, and think about what's restricting you in your thinking to be creative, right? So we're gonna test. We are going to do a design thinking challenge. You'll have 15 to 20 minutes to do this. We'll all get the same materials. So we'll just do our groups. There's 4 guys, but we'll just do. And brainstorm. So in each of these bags will be a card. That's usually a challenge card. Might be a post-it. And it will tell you, it will give you a prompt, something you need to be thinking. Then you'll use the things inside these bags and only the things in these bags to design, create, imagine, whatever it is that you're being asked. So obviously this is meant to be thinking about it in the design thinking phases, but every time I do this, you guys all just go off the rails. But imagine your students. Right. Okay, so look at you all. Okay, so inside your bag, look for your challenge card and then. Yeah, so it's either a part or. Yeah, some of the posts I lost, some of them were returned to me. And then I made them like. I get to try. Or in lunch. Or make it school. All right, so you're gonna have 5 minutes to think of your kind of prototype, right? So the problem has been given to you, right? It's on the card. Generate your idea, decide on your solution. And remember, think like a just go. Who can do what is. There are no rules. So we all got one. Do you know what I mean? Or okay, this is something you can look at. So this is straight. Yeah, right. And this idea that if I found trash, yeah, not the trash. Yeah. This is just the material provided to you to break for me. Yeah. 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 This is heat of war makes food cool. Yeah. Does it have to do both or just either? So he's. No, not whatever. They're is there a next little guy? So maybe one side. Maybe like the hot side. A little container to try to rescue the bug. Yeah. Use a, and this is just like an instant thing.
But I wanna make a better one.
Like, was this one? Yes. Make two separate. It's just like a little like milky beetle or something. Okay, I'm just keep working. I'm saving the bug. I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna put him outside. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna catch him.
You have to get lucky. All my beds are right?
Yeah. My lunch box. Yeah, if you don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That would be one.
Yeah.
All right, she's now, it's free. Keep going. How's it going? Yeah.
Like, not easy at all.
Because you're not thinking like a child. My brain is so locked.
Okay.
It is restrained by the logic.
Okay.
Let's stick them on the side of the campsite set.
Gonna come around and take it again. Grab the book.
What?
I have to walk away from that. Here.
Hold on. Few more minutes and then we're gonna present our ideas to the class.
I don't think so.
Surviving, you know, trying to get by. Oh, okay. Doing just education. Everybody. Folks, I have the things that I'll give me again. Or right. Okay, we need 2 more minutes, okay? 2 more minutes. After a certain age, you have to think about
I don't.
Years ago, where, I created a bridge.
I took it before. I moved on.
I just need positive.
We have that 15 minutes.
Oh, someone pointed in my. Did he hope or? I know, it's like,
All right, what do we got?
Huh?
What did we come up with? All right, who wants to go first? I see some interesting buildings that happened back here. So let me, yeah, let's,
So,
what is your challenge card?
I wish to turn trash into something useful.
Okay, so this is, imagine we have found a bunch of trash. Now we want to do something with it. And these materials are not the trash, right? These are just the materials we're using to brainstorm our solution.
So we created a bridge. Our water. And then, you know, this, we gotta create a pretty white, light for that bridge. Right? Then car carrying the trash. And then we have the bridge that opens up. Yeah.
Very Chicago of you.
And then we, and when it opens, then we can take the trash onto the other side, and we're talking about composting. Because we're kids, and we don't know anything about, you know, without composting until we can take it to a garden and we can compost it.
And how would you imagine, what kind of garbage would use to make your bridge?
Oh. I think that's funny.
Okay, what kind of trash might be?
Tires.
Tires,
Tires,
wood, metal,
Yeah.
iron.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe you need that to, like, you know, for the boats, so they don't hit the side.
No, yes.
Something like that, rubber along.
So we were thinking too about this, you know, like garbage, and then I'm like, well, the compost, or like, but no garbage, we have other garbage, or other tons of it. So then that's how we were thinking, more like adults. Well, and I said, well, we're kids, and they're teaching all about compost, so we're gonna talk about compost garbage. Because we kind of, like, because then we were just kind of separating, right?
Yeah.
And then mine was like.
Our dumb adult brain
Yeah, yeah.
really restricting
Yeah.
creative uses. Great job. You beat your own mind by creating that. So nice job. All right, who wants to go next? Okay. Go before it falls apart. So, okay.
I wish that you did something extra, so we did like, our shoes to like jump, this case like jumping, they could like jump
Yeah.
really high if they have like little springs on the wall.
So I wish my shoes could do something extra. Challenge.
I know them here right now, but
So you made spring shoes. Yeah, okay. Okay.
I want spring shoes.
see if sometimes you don't want the spring, you can just take them out.
Yeah, there, see? So sometimes when it breaks, you think of a new idea that you might want to include, like maybe they retract into the shoe, like those like wheel shoes, right? Yeah,
My
right?
son loved those.
And yeah, never, I think I was too old. I probably would. But, okay. Great. Well, love it. I would love to jump around like a.
Those are fun.
Okay, all right.
Ours was, I wish for a lunchbox to heat up or make food cool. So we came up with this, it's like an insert for a lunchbox.
Okay.
So this would be the cool side. This is the button to turn it on, and this is like for settings.
Okay.
want it really cold. And then on the other side, if they want to make it warm,
Hmm.
this is the start button and also the type of settings. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good outside the box thing. You've made an insert that goes into your lunch bag.
Mhm.
It is multi-functional. You can turn it, yeah.
Techie.
Techie. And that function, it has many features. Maybe you're, maybe there's just a couple of settings to start and you like. Great. Good job.
One of those.
All right, so Denise, you already kind of mentioned and commented on how hard this was. Other thoughts on it was fun. Thinking outside the box, the logic box, the logic box that is our adult brain.
I'm like, doesn't make sense, but I'm like, yeah, I guess it.
Right. So yeah, so design thinking in engineering design practice is a science approach that you can take in your own class with your own students, right? You can offer up these design thinking challenges for them. But also you can engage in them yourself so that you start thinking outside of the box, outside of your logic brain box, right? And so that you can keep your kind of creative brain going. It's hard because like trained now adults to be thinking about things in certain ways. But when we work with young children, we really want to make sure that we're not restricting the way that we teach and engage in our teaching and learning practices in ways that are like restricted by our brain box. I'm just gonna call it the block brain box. Right, so doing this activity hopefully has helped you to sort of see that you can do it, that you can think outside the box, that you can be creative, that you can see things in ways that there. Questions, thoughts? And then think yeah. The sky's the limit, right? We want to teach children that anything is possible, right? We're building future engineers. I don't know, right? Anything, right? We want them to be able to think about whatever it is. So using design thinking and engineering design process, STEM challenges like this help them think of this way, right? So, and you can do this thing. You can do this that's aligned with books, right? You can find problems that characters are dealing with in books and help them, and they build solutions using this process, right? Defining the problem, building generating your ideas, drawing out, sketching out your prototype, building your prototype. But there's a whole process that engineers use, right, to do this. And so teaching them that process, obviously, many other things. Align that this time. So get your brain all messed up, Stop thinking like boring grown-ups. We're teaching young children and we need to think like that, right? All right, so we're gonna keep talking about science. So next for asynchronous, and you're really gonna focus on science concepts. So, a little bit more boring stuff maybe. But you'll really be reflecting on and thinking about scientific concepts in the way that you understand them, right? And then the ways in which you would teach those ideas to young children, right? So think about things like the classic sing float experiment, right? We do this in so many early childhood classrooms in preschool. And these are what scientific principles are we focused on when we think?
Gravity.
Oh, man, like,
Density, yes, right, so think of it as an experiment that looks at density and the density of objects in relationship, whether or not, right, they float or sink. That are more than. So, right, so that concept, that scientific concept, so this is the physical concept, and the concept is density. Right? And so when you're thinking about stuff like that, oh, you'd be thinking in that way, thinking about those particular concepts that are related to these big buckets of science, right? So thinking about earth-based science, life science, and physical science. So physical science, what we're talking about, so density. Life science is what? What are some life science ideas? Biology, right? How would you teach biology in early childhood?
Face, maybe.
Parts of your body, right? Animals, right? We talk about like animals and animal needs and we do plant experiments, we do habitats, right? So look at the standards too, right? For science and kind of think about what the concepts are that are embedded in those, so that you can start to think about science. Because we don't need to be biologists. Right? We don't need to be like experts all the sciences. We teach science to young children, but we need to have some knowledge of what these scientific ideas are. And so next week it's your week to kind of explore that. Right? To dig into your old line around, old science. Use ChatGPT, AI. Something good to this up on your science learning. Right, and think about what you need, how you understand a concept like density, and then how you would teach that. So that's kind of your digital journal. Will ask you to do that. And then just some things coming up. So science experiments, math and science thing lesson. Those are coming up the next few weeks. So just check the syllabus, make sure you know those dates. Any questions? Okay, and then when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about science. We'll talk about next generation science. And when we're back in person, that date. 29. No, 22nd is next week, right? Yes, right. 29. So that class actually will probably have to end early because you're doing the memorial tree. Yeah, so the memorial tree here on campus, 2 of our students passed away in the last couple of years, and so we have done a. And so I welcome you all to join if you'd like. But that starts at like 5:30, so we'll come and we'll do a little stuff and then. No, it's just like in the student union, there's like snacks and things there, and we invited our student family to come too, so. Yeah.
The one was from brain cancer.
The other one. Adrian's, yeah, so she had lung cancer. It was very, within 1 month, she was like. From chemo. I knew both of the students.
Oh,
They were both.
I thought it sounded like brain.
What's that?
I thought it was the brain.
So Jaylene had brain cancer. And then Adriana was diagnosed with lung cancer and was undergoing treatment. And she, I think it was just like the chemo, it was very strong. Really sick and then. So, yeah.
And they were so.
They were so young. And Adriana has a young child. So, yeah. It's really sad. So our program did leaves for them, so, and invited their students, obviously, their block. So that's that day. Sorry to be such a downer. But it's a celebration of them. They were great students, and so we want to celebrate.
Mindy also.
Yeah, so she's, so she'll. Also-
Get the names, but then I looked into it, so I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, yeah. Yeah, very sad, but, we'll go and celebrate life with their family and friends, so.
And are they?
They are,
Yeah.
they both graduated, yeah, so they were both teaching. Yeah, actually Adriana was a grad student, too. She was taking. Yeah. Yes, so that, but we'll still meet that day. It'll just be like a very abbreviated day. We'll talk about like extra science standards.
Sorry.
No, change gears. No, please change gears. Let's not end on like a sad note.
Digital journals.
Yeah.
Lesson plans all the time. Yes. Like, because like,
You don't have to do them as lesson plans. They can be in any kind of format you want. Right? Like as long as they like respond to the prompt that's provided, right? And I have the examples too that I do that are. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's like a template or something, right, that says like use this template, or it can just be your own creative. Think like a child, be creative.
Yeah, it's been hard to look at.
Yeah. So you don't need to think like a lesson.
So how about for, and I haven't looked, so I apologize, for the math and the science minutes.
So those, yeah,
So. Like, the other ones.
so those are just like kind of those abbreviated like lesson. So
Is there a template?
so you would have, it's like the similar template that you guys did in 301 for the co-teaching lesson, maybe. There was like right, there was like a mini lesson.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's similar to that. It's been updated a little bit. There's like a little bit more detail, just given some feedback. So, but it's still not the long. Yeah, and she said she does do it. You know why it is? I think I didn't realize they must have moved those are now key assessments in the clinical. Because they want to do like, so that so we do the key assessment in 301. And then that's like your first point. And then they do midpoint, which I'm assuming is in the clinicals. And then there's, I think, one you submit to in student teaching. So then there's 3 like data points essentially for the lesson plan, so we can see how well collectively how we're doing. So yeah. All right. You will have to suffer through it. But not all the time. You used to have to do the long lesson in this class. Yeah, but there were so many more key.
I mean, just this, some of the lesson plan, I had to go like none. None, because I wasn't using analogy.
Right.
Things that I would, like, ways that I could use. Yeah.
Or if you had to.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Oh, I didn't, because I was like, well, I'm not in this lesson plan, I'm not doing it, so I didn't put it. Because, I thought like.
I mean, think even like, if you're using like a smartboard, right? To like
I mean, I
introduce
put
it.
stuff on there, but I did it because I could use it.
Yeah.
But that's where my thought was at, because. Oh, I haven't,
Yeah, I know. It's fine. You'll do it and then you'll never have to do it again.
No, we have to do one more.
So, well, you'll do it. No, I'm saying you'll do it in this program, right? But then like you'll go be a teacher and then you'll like never have to.
Yeah, like teach, like so she'll give this.
Yeah.
Like, he said,
Right.
so, teacher that wrote
Yeah. Right, but she's probably like a calendar that she has like to make to her principal, that's like, here's what I'm doing, this.
Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah.
So she told the same thing, she's like, it just, you guys just have to get the goods.
100%. I mean, I think there's, like, think about it, like, there's value in really understanding, for me, what's most important is like standard, objective, assessment, activity alignment, right? Like, making sure that those things are all in sync with each other, right? It's like really important. Because that's gonna be the most important when you're looking at a lesson plan from like Skyline. You're gonna need to see that, right? You're gonna need to understand how the activity is actually like the objective is seen in this activity, right? And if it's not clear, like how do you make it clear? So yeah, I do think that part. I mean, the ability to just be the standard and know what they are. You know, but I still see students like, not you guys necessarily, but like students who will like put standards in for grades that they're not even, that's not even, like they'll want to plan activities that aren't related to standards with them. So it's like life cycle. You will literally not teach about life cycle until like third grade. And when you look at when you really look at the early learning standards, there's actually not any life cycle standards really. But we're just so used to these, like, these are the things we do with little kids, right? And so we just think that that's just like what they should be learning. Yeah. And you can use those as like or topics or themes, right? But you have to figure out how the standards are embedded in those activities. You can't just like do it because it's like they're not learning that stuff in kindergarten. Or you could make a like math game out of the life cycle, which I don't know, right? Like if you want to use those like ideas that are familiar maybe to children or but not like that's like the biggest thing I see. You want to teach all kinds of stuff and then like when you look at the standard, you're like, wait a minute, they're not even learning this stuff in first grade. Right?
I really like the. Like,
Yeah.
it gives me an idea, like, okay, this fits here, and this is what they learn, and I like.
Yeah.
Like you said, we forget, we're like, yeah, we wanna teach this, that, and we're like, hold on, let's go back, that's why I really.
Yeah, the math learning trajectories are like
Yeah.
the greatest thing ever. I mean, I love them so much. I think they're super helpful. I wish they would create some for like
Everything else.
every topic.
Yeah, it just helps keep that in mind, right? When you.
Yeah, that's good.
That's just-
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's probably one of my most favorite things. All right, so, all right, asynchronous next week, digital journal about science concepts. Those things are coming up, so check those out. It's a question. And, yeah. That's it. All right, we'll get out of here, go freak out about some other classes.
I'm not sure.
Go do your midterm. Oh, I just so bad with the material back. I'll report them. It's copy. We're not selling them all.
Like a meatloaf.
Yeah, no, let's get to it.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, well,
Get like better.
I will see you all in a couple weeks. You know, okay,